Yeah. Uh, so the difference between Ajiva and Jiva and why it is necessary to understand these two components. The very foundation is to be able to view that transcendence or transcending from this your current state to that higher self is uh, possible. That is why understanding this two concept, Jiva and Ajiva, the difference between that is important. Now, karma. What does karma or action? What is the importance or influence of this when it comes to Jain psychology? What does it say? So, the nature of karma. What is it? Jains view karma as a physical substance that attaches to the soul due to actions, thoughts, and intentions. Now, the same example, right? So, of the thing that you see outside and that you want to buy. Now, assume that you did an action, okay, of buying it. So now this action, assume that it is in the form of some sort of parasite, okay. Now this parasite attaches itself to the soul, okay. So the Jaina tradition sees karma as something material. So in that way, assume that this karma or this action that you have performed, any action, okay. So your thought, intentions, and actions, all of this influences this karma, right? So it is a sort of parasite that attaches itself to the soul, okay. And this is what leads to the cycle of birth and death. Now, there are different types of karma. There is knowledge obscuring, perception obscuring. So, there is knowledge, that is ignorance. Uh, uh, Knowledge, that is you get the knowledge of something, so you have a clear view of something. That is knowledge. What is obscuring? Obscuring is something that does not let you see beyond. So consider it like a parda or a veil, right? So you're not able to see beyond that. So it's like a curtain over this. Perception obscuring. So it does not only stops you from, viewing, what do you say? Perceive something through your sense organs, but also your perception. So you're not even able to infer something. So even your cognitive abilities. Okay, so that are the different types of karma. And all of these types, whether good or bad, can hinder your spiritual progress. I mean, at an initial stage, obviously the good karma is good. I mean, it helps you in some sort of way. At least you're good, right? We say at least something. So it is like you're at least good. That's fine. But apart from that, as a spiritual being, it does not help you in your upliftment. Okay, rather it bogs you down. Now, karma and mental state. The accumulation of negative karma can lead to mental afflictions like anger, greed, and delusion, while positive karma can foster peace, clarity, and compassion. So, like I said, in your initial stage, good karma is good, but later even that is considered bad. So if you have good karma, what does it do? It gives you peace, tranquility, clarity in your thought and actions, and compassion, kindness, right, towards other beings, not just human beings. And um, your bad or your negative karma, when it is you're not able to think properly, you assume things, and it leads to your downfall. Okay. Now, uh, the next is non-absolutism. That um, yeah. So, what is its philosophical approach? So, non-absolutism asserts that reality is multifaceted. So, it has many faces. There is not one reality, but there are multiple realities. That is what Jaina tradition tells us. Okay, and no single viewpoint can capture the entirety of truth. So, truth has many faces when it comes to Jaina tradition. And uh, one side or one phase, an individual is able to view only one side of it. And just viewing one side of it, different people viewing one side of it, you cannot ever understand the whole truth. Okay, it is impossible according to them. All right. This encourages open mindedness and dialogue, reducing dogmatism. So it says what? Because it is believed that you can never know the entire truth and there are different faces to the truth, and an individual at one time can view only one side of the truth. These it in this tradition uh, we encourage open mindedness, right? So we say that my truth cannot be your truth, my lie can be your truth, or your lie can be my truth. So, and this reduces dogmatism. Dogmatism means reduces, a sense of judgment towards other people. Then, what is its impact on psychology? So, it's in embracing multiple perspectives, and this can elevate conflict and enhance empathy, leading to better interpersonal relationships and mental health. So, because you are more open minded and more accepting, people are, people from this tradition, they have less conflicts because you are more open-minded and you're more accepting versus other people, right? So you're not saying no, you're wrong, and only I am right. So you, their side can be right. This helps in open conversation and being non-judgmental, which leads better interpersonal relationships and also mental health of each individual. It's Samyak Darshana, that is right perception. So, what is right perception? Like I said, perceiving, perception, knowledge is good, but having the right knowledge, having the right perception, having the right lens to look towards this is important. The role in understanding the reality. Right perception is foundational for spiritual insight, right? So, unless you have the right knowledge, you are not going to move forward in your spiritual insight. And even worse, having the wrong sort of knowledge is even worse, right? It involves seeing beyond illusions and attachments, recognizing the transient nature of life. So, having the right knowledge will help you uh, move beyond and have a clearer view of that ultimate real truth. Okay, it involves seeing beyond illusions and attachments. So you are able to give that view or view beyond this uh, beyond this good and bad and right and wrong, and also which is an illusion, and also your attachments that you have developed. Okay, now recognizing the transient nature of the life, so you realize that this is not your true self, but your true self is that which is hidden. So you realize the transient nature. Now, cognitive and emotional clarity. Cultivating Samyak Darshana can lead to a more balanced emotional state and greater resilience in life's challenges. So, what? It leads to a more stable emotional state that is in turn going to help you to lead a better and more fulfilling, accepting life. Now, meditation and aesthetic practices, that is the uh, another thing. So you have meditative techniques just like Buddhism. You have mindfulness here, and you have self-discipline like that in yoga, which does what? It helps you aim to quiet the mind and detach from the sensory distraction. So you quieten the mind and you move away from your sensory distractions, right? So what you see, what you hear, and what you feel, and all that. So you move away from that and focus on the right thing. Techniques may include breath control and visualization on the soul's purity. So, you do what? You focus on your breath control, like that in yoga, and visualizing of the soul's purity, like that in mindfulness in Buddhism. So, it's a mixture of these two, right? So, here you, while meditating or practicing mindfulness, you do what? You visualize that your mind, right? That is pure and it is away from blemish, it is away from all these falls and all of this that you see. It is actually a very pure entity, your soul. Now, that is your meditative techniques. Now, asceticism, that is brahmacharya. Many Jains practice asceticism to purify the mind and body. You might have seen a lot of, Jain monks around, right? Clad in white. This can include fasting, renouncing material possession, and practicing non-attachments, all of which contribute to mental clarity and spiritual growth. So they go into that path for obviously spiritual growth. So they do what? They keep away all the material objects, they leave away their material possession and the relationship and all. And the sole thing that they focus on is their spiritual growth. Now, there is ethics and mental well-being. So there are different ethics. Each school has, different ethics, moral codes and conducts that one has to follow to have spiritual development and ultimately reach the right. So similar conducts, and the first one being non-violence or ahimsa, that is central to Jainism and promotes compassion towards all living beings, fostering a sense of peace and reducing inner turmoil. Okay. Now, there is truthfulness, that is Satya. Practicing truthfulness encourages integrity, authenticity, leading to healthier relationships and improved mental health. Truthfulness, being truth in your action, deeds, and thoughts, right? Now, we know being truth has its own, uh, plus points. So, you're not lying, you're being true to yourself, you're being true to the world. So, obviously, your relationships are going to be better. You are always going to be at peace because, you have not lied anyway, you have nothing to hide. So, that is that. Then there is self control, that is samyama, that is self restraint in thought, words, and action contributes to mental stability and spiritual progress. Okay, so having self control over your thoughts, words, and action contribute to mental clarity and spiritual progress. So, through self control, you can have spiritual progress, and you can work on yourself by restraining. And here, remember, it's not only about what you say, it's not only about material restriction that you want something and you don't buy it. It's not only about that. It is also about moral restriction. You know that this is wrong, and but you're forced to do it. So, do you take a stand to choose and not do those actions? Or do you, clump under the stress and go and do it? Right. So, it is self control, restraining from doing any sorts of immoral action. All right. So with this, we finished the Jain psychology. The last is the Bhagavad Gita view of Indian psychology, and with this we complete. Uh, this is not a different school of psychology. This is one of the Prasthanatraya, like we saw yesterday. It's one of the major texts in, uh, our Hindu tradition, as you might know. So, what does it do? The Bhagavad Gita explores three core philosophical themes, that is dharma, karma, and moksha. These are the three themes that the whole text is based on. Okay, this is the very fundamental of the text. Now, what is dharma? Dharma refers to one's duty or righteous path in life determined by social position, personal abilities, and cosmic order. This is a very reductionist kind of explanation, but this is the most that language English can do, and also psychology at the present moment. So what it's a very vague definition, that it is what it is your duty in one, and the other is your righteous action, doing the right actions and taking the right path in life, which is determined by what? By your social position, where you are in your life currently, personal abilities, your different abilities that has been bestowed on you, and the cosmic order. Okay, all of this determines what kind of action and what kind of duties you're going to do according to the Gita. The Bhagavad Gita presents a comprehensive framework for spiritual practice and self-realization through yoga. So there are different yogas, right? I mean, karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, and all of these different yogas are given. Bhakti yoga. So through this is how the way to moksha liberation is explained in the Gita. In the context of the Gita, yoga refers to the union of the individual self with the divine achieved through various paths or discipline. Okay. So yoga, the word itself means what? Union, right? So these different yogas that are prescribed in the um Gita is nothing but what? These are different paths that lead to the union of the ultimate or the supreme being and the individual. Okay, so basically, it's a pathway to liberation. Now, the text discusses four primary types of yoga. What is it? Is dhyana yoga, that is meditation, jnana yoga, knowledge, bhakti yoga, that is devotion, and karma yoga, that is selfless action. So, these are the different yogas that are prescribed by Sri Krishna in the text to Arjuna, like we know. The Bhagavad Gita emphasizes the importance of integrating these various parts of yoga, recognizing that different individuals may be drawn to different approaches based on their unique disposition and circumstances. Right? So each yoga it's given its own importance and the benefits and how to go about it in the text. So there's a detailed description of all of this. So why are there different methods given and why not just a single method, right? So Shri Krishna could have just said that you do this and you will attain liberation. But there are different methods and you're free to choose which suits you best. And why is that done? It is done keeping in mind that individuals are different and unique in their own approaches, right? So you are different from me, I am different from a third person. So we each one has your own disposition is your vasanas, right? So we each have our own vasana that we need to exhaust. So based on this is how we decide which yoga or which particular path of spiritual progress am I more inclined to. So based on this is keeping all of this is on sorry keeping all of this in mind is are why the different yogas are prescribed in the Gita, and of course your circumstances also. Now someone might want to take sannyasa, but it he might not be ready for it, right? So his circumstances might not be up for it or he might not be ready for it. So keeping in mind all of that is how the different yogas. So like I said, it's pluses and minuses, and the ways of following that is also very much given in the text itself. So in psychology, the Bhagavad Gita offers valuable insights into human mind, emotions, and behavior, anticipating many concepts in modern psychological theories. So, it gives you a deep understanding about anything and everything about the individual, whether it's emotion, whether it's physical, whether it's psychological condition, the different states of the human beings, all of that is explored in the text. The Gita's teachings on the nature of the self, the role of desire and attachment in human suffering, the importance of self mastery and emotional regulation have informed the development of the Indian approaches to mental health and being. So, the theories and the models that are developed based on the Gita are kept in mind, are developed by keeping in mind what the mental health and the well being, and uh, keep importance is given to self mastery. So like I said, it is not about elevating the already existing condition of the patient, but it is also making him strengthening him and making him stronger, right, to deal life's challenges, not just this time but throughout his life. So self mastery and emotional regulation, how to regulate his emotions enough to keep him steady throughout his life. This is the focus in the text. The text emphasizes on integrating physical, mental, and spiritual dimensions of human existence has influenced the holistic orientation of Indian psychology, right? So Bhagavad Gita is a very holistic text. Like we saw, there are different methods and it includes almost everything that an individual needs. So it's a compact text for life itself, right? Now, and all of this therapy and models and all of that, that's a very small portion, right? But the text is much larger than that. By integrating these various parts and recognizing the unique inclination of individuals, The Gita offers a holistic framework for spiritual growth and personal transformation. So, like we just now saw, the text is a very unique text which is there in our Hindu tradition, which is, very unique and very pertaining to itself, and not really, I won't say it's not there in other tradition, but what I mean to say is that it's a very compact text, it's like it's given in a very capsulated form for you. So it's it's like it's a whole gist of the whole Vedas and Upanishads put together in one text. So an individual who studies this text, it's almost like you have studied the whole scriptures, right? So how it helps in your psychological transformation, we saw there are different methods and you can pick from it, choose from it, you can try, and it's a tried and tested method for eons. People have done and lived by it for centuries. So this is a very gist. I will share with you the document which has a detailed information about all of this. So with this we finish your module 2. Just to do a quick revision of all your modules, your first module had your introduction to your Indian psychology and the basic, introduction to what it is and why you should learn it, and how is it different from Western psychology and all that. This is your second module. Do not misunderstand. Do not get confused. This is your second module where we saw different theoretical frameworks, right? Different schools of philosophy and different schools of different traditions, and what is what. Uh, each school preaches what and teaches you what, right? So this we covered in the second module. Majorly the Samkhya school, that is your Ayurveda and yoga, and then we saw Advaita Vedanta worldview. We also saw Buddhism, Jainism, and finally the Bhagavad Gita worldview. This is the only thing mentioned in your syllabus. I hope I've covered everything. And always remember the gist is the, you know, okay, we'll do that. Your third module is, what was the third module? Yeah, it was the self and, basically the concepts. So, what is self and what is a person and what is consciousness, and all of that is what we saw in third module. Okay, so again, it is a basic, it's not very much in detail. It's again a very introductory chapter. And finally, your fourth module was the future, right? And what is the current research and what is the future direction of research in this particular field, uh, and in therapy and psychotherapy and so on. That was your fourth module. So just to put a gist of the whole subject in one go is, always remember the person or the self is central to Indian psychology, and that is what is studied. All the modules, all the theories, all the models that are made in different schools revolve around the self or the person, and the person's transformation. Transformation into what? So, the transformation of the person from this state to that transcendental state, which has different names in different tradition. It can be called Brahman or consciousness, pure consciousness, the Atman or the Jiva, whatever, transcending from the state of the current state to that ultimate pure consciousness. This journey is what is covered, and the different modules and models that are made is ways of how this person can lead this journey, right? So the person in the current form is in a conditioned stage, and his journey to this unconditioned state, that is merging with that supreme or that ultimate reality, is going from the conditioned to the unconditioned state. When the person has attained that unconditioned stage or that state of godhood, we say that the person has attained liberation or samadhi. Now, this whole process is explained in a cycle, right? The cycle is what we call as the cycle of birth and death, right? This cycle can only be broken when a person attains nirvana, moksha, or liberation, right? Which all of these terms are used separately in different traditions. Now, um, an individual is born and because of various reasons, because of his karma or his passions and desires, his attachments and all of that, his vasanas basically. So he comes into this world, he engages in this world, he through his sense organs, his body, right? Body, mind, and intellect, BMI, through his jnanendriyas and karmendriyas. And then he engages and forms an attachment towards the material world and the material objects outside. And there is no vairagya. Vairagya is detachment. So the person has to form detachment to lead to transformation. So first, he forms attachment and therefore also forms a sort of like and dislike, right? So uh, towards everything. So you like something, you don't like something, whether it is studying or not, studying, whether it is studying or material objects like dress or chocolates or whatever, right? So likes and dislikes. I like this, I don't like that. So you form attachment, and therefore it leads you to act or non-act or not act, and that leads to your further consequences. And what are the consequences? The consequences is uh, forming more vasanas, right? And this is a non-ending cycle from your birth to your death. And then you die, and then again you take birth, and this is again a whole cycle. Now, this can only be broken, this cycle of birth and death can only be broken if your vasanas are exhausted, right? And that can only happen if the person attains samadhi or liberation. And that can be done through discipline or right conducts and tapas and austerity and all of this. We saw all that, right? So these are different methods. So this is the very base of Indian psychology. And like we saw, there are different therapies, and in the current world, we are already, uh, you know, are a little more accepting than we were previously. And we have developed a lot of different therapies like MBSR and MBCT, mindfulness based therapy, which are very rooted in Indian this. Of course, they are adapted to the needs of the current, you know, Western masses, but it finds its root in our Indian traditions, right? So, yeah, so this is how Indian psychology offers a very unique view to different psychological conditions compared to all the other schools, not schools. Yeah, we can call it schools. The different schools, right? The Western schools like behaviorist school or in any other school, guest taught school, or how is it different from Chinese psychology or French psychology or Japanese psychology or American psychology? It has a very unique take on things that is right now very well celebrated and very well accepted. And I think more and more people are coming to this right now than actually uh, opting for the very traditional Western method of therapy. I'm not saying that it is not practiced, it is obviously practiced, it is still widely practiced, but people are becoming more and more open, and they want to know what it is that India has to offer them. And this is a very unique thing that is available only to us, and we are giving it out to the world right now. So this is the gist of Indian psychology, and thank you very much. It was nice with you people. We hope I was able to deliver, hopefully. And with that, we end all your modules. Yeah. If I'm assuming there are no questions, but if you do have any questions, please ask or put it in the chat. Okay. This meeting is about to end, and since there are no questions, I'm assuming that you have either understood everything or not understood anything. Either way, we are done with your units. So thank you. Shall I end the meeting?
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you can interview.
Bye.